This is Max from My Own Will, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast. We are violent, negative, pissed off disc golfers and avoid hornets in the nest.
Brutally Delicious!
Hey, you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast. I'm Bruce Moore.
And I'm Chris Seegers.
And today we've got Max Kushner from My Own Will.
Man, when you sent me this track the other day to hear, I just about jizzed my pants.
It's pretty crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's super heavy. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a throwback to nu metal. And like it's like Pantera and nu metal and kind of more modern production style. I didn't stop listening. I sent it to everyone I know. That's into metal.
That's the beauty of this. We keep finding all these weird, not all these weird, but all these new music. And I never thought of people reaching out. I was telling you earlier, we should start like focusing on some stuff because I've got people sending me stuff. Hey, can you play this on the show? Or hey, can you do this?
Oh man, the more music that we can expose ourselves to, I mean, if we're exposing ourselves to great music, that only helps people in the world expand their metal horizons.
I 100% agree. So I'm thinking, I was telling you earlier that last time we were talking about my buddy Dale, who's one of our big supporters right from the beginning. He loves all the stuff, but his biggest thing is he keeps saying, look, this is just like a great conversation. There's no like real agenda. And we don't even know where we're going to end up. We just kind of do our shit and see what happens. And it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. And we've got some crazy stories out of people too, which is also good.
We've got some really good stories. Yeah. I don't know how we get some of them, but yeah, we kind of, I guess maybe because we make people feel at ease and then they just do their thing. I'm not sure. I
don't know. The only thing missing from this, My Own Will's been on repeat all week for me. I haven't stopped listening to that track. I'm just so, I think the recording of it is really unique. They've kind of created this really weird mid-rangey kind of sound that is different from every other recording that I hear. And I've kind of been analyzing it and wondering, like, it's kind of some strange decisions, and yet somehow I'm just in love with it. And then...
I'm not a big nu metal fan. I never have been, but you're right. I think it mixes the two well enough where I'm like, wow, this is pretty killer.
Yeah, and then right before I got on with you here, I was listening to Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie.
Really?
And I haven't heard that track in forever, and I just hit play on this, like YouTube made this suggested playlist for me. And it started out with Dock and Break the Chains.
See, now you're talking my language. That's the crap I like.
And then it went on to Alice in Chains, Man in the Box, and then Thunder Kiss 65 came on. I was like, YouTube, you know me too well. I don't know if I'm comfortable with it, but I like it.
I don't know either, but you know what? I got the new Whitesnake album for review. And, I know he's up there in age, and we talked about this already, and I've heard live he's not all that well, but boy, this freaking album, dude, it's off the chain.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's moved with the time, so it's got some really cool, 2019 sort of elements to it, but it's still got that Whitesnake thing. And the Hoekstra, the guitar player, he's still got all those riffs, man. And it's like really riff heavy. It brought me back like right to 89, 90, whenever that was.
Oh, amazing. Reb Beach is playing in that band too, is he not?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That guy can shred.
Yeah, that's a very talented band. And I know, Coverdale is pretty old, but he's still got the pipes on, at least recording wise.
Oh, Coverdale's always had the hottest bands. Like for a while, who did he have? Adrian Vandenberg, Rudy Sarzo. I can't remember the drummer's name. He played with Ozzy.
Aldridge?
Maybe.
Tommy Aldridge?
It might be Tommy Aldridge, yeah.
He played with Ozzy for a while. He's played with a bunch of people.
Yeah. And then their other guitar player, God, I can't remember his name, but he quit right before the release of the Whitesnake album. And he was also...
Was that Vandenberg?
Not Vandenberg, no. Vandenberg was killer. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah. You want to hear a story? The first concert I ever saw was Motley Crue Girls, Girls, Girls in 1987. I was like 12 years old. And so I go to this concert and Whitesnake's opening up. And I've never seen a live band in my life. At that point, I had never seen one. And I walk in and they open up it with Still of the Night. And my mind was blown. Even at that age, he's grabbing those notes and just hammering them. I was just blown away.
Oh, yeah, and he's such stage presence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It still pisses me off, though, that they re-recorded that record and changed every song. That pisses me right off,
Yeah, and they added a lot of keyboards and made it a whole lot softer.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. Sorry to swear so much, but it really makes me angry.
No,
I heard it on the radio
the other day.
I heard it on the radio the other day, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, this isn't the song. She's just like, what do you mean? This is the song? I was like, it is not the song.
No. And, you're worried about your language, but we were talking about, like, instrumental masturbation early in the last episode, so I don't think there really is a...
Okay, cool.
I think we're good. Hey, I just got a text from Max. You want to do this, and then we'll continue afterwards?
Yeah, you got it.
Hey, Chris, that's Max. Max, Chris.
What's going on?
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
So thank you for taking the time to do this. We won't keep it too long. I know we were just talking a little bit earlier. Chris was pretty excited when I sent him the track earlier in the week to do this.
Oh, my God.
Chris?
My God, I haven't stopped listening to this track the whole time. Like,
Really?
yeah. To be honest with you, I can't even remember the name because it's just been on repeat in the background for the whole week.
Just on repeat.
It's
a great song.
I sent it out to everybody I know that loves metal.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure you noticed one thing on there. There's I'm not playing bass. There you go. Oh, no. But I am in the video.
Well, there you go.
I'm the main character. So there you go.
Okay, so then how did you end up playing bass?
I actually was playing. I was asked to fill in last December for them. I was in another band, and they were like, "Hey, can you fill in for us?" And eventually, it just kind of turned into our singer Dave, and the rest of the band was like, "I kind of like this guy." Then Dave decided to start a hashtag. Max joined My Own Will 2019 or 2018, whichever one he did. And then it started spreading everywhere, and everyone was like, "Dude, you need to do it." And eventually I was like, I'm going to do it. And then at we played a pizza show with traders and such, and we were asked to, and then I announced I'm in the band, and everyone freaked out. It seemed to be this big thing. Hey, he's playing bass in this band now.
Hey, man.
Nice.
When people get excited about bass players, you know you're doing a good thing.
I guess so.
Hey, I'm a bass player. I got a Fender Jazz back here.
There you go. I got a Fender Aeronine sitting in my little studio behind me.
Nice.
In the other room. Yeah, and I got my nice ESP.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start this off because Max, you seem like a super nice guy. We're having a good time, but I'm looking at your Facebook page here, and it says you are violent, negative, and pissed off. How do you? How are you justifying the difference between the two? And is it hard to change characters? And because obviously you're not a violent, pissed off dude. I'm sitting here talking to you, and you're.
It's kind of, you got aggression in the music. It's kind of emotion. Your emotion, everything's going. The pissed off and angriness is, product of that heavy music, but it's also got a lot of emotion sitting in it, so I can say, think of it as like just really angry emotions that, you're trying to get out.
Okay, so we've talked about this with other art or other people on the podcast before, and do you find it like cathartic in a way? Is it a way to just like get out, the week's shit, the end of the week kind of stuff, let's go play, or how does...
For me personally, it's like that. I find it's a great stress relief, but also at the same time, you ever see us live, I have a massive smile on my face too, because right. I love doing this. It's a great time. So it's kind of here and kind of 50-50.
Right. But it's not like you're smiling because you're violently pissed off. You enjoy being violently pissed off. It's just you're getting your shit out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of emotion, and it's fantastic. It's like the best stress relief I could get.
Right. Those 4 strings are much better than $100 an hour therapy.
Yeah. Yes, I completely agree. I'd rather bang on a bass than I go to therapy.
4 strings or 5?
Yeah. 5 string.
All right. So my bad. So 5 strings banging on
Old
are better than
bass.
$100 in therapy.
Banging on a tow cable too. It's huge. It's like what is it? Instead of like a 130 gauge 145, it's like a fat bass string.
What are you guys tuned to?
Drop G.
Drop
Oh.
G.
So, yeah, that's right. I mean, we're not on the level of some people who are like drop E, the heaviest thing ever, and you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So drop G, is that? I'm not sure where Whitechapel is at, but that's probably right around there, right?
Well, I remember their older stuff was in drop A. I'm not sure their newer stuff, to be honest. And a lot of bands seem to be picking up on a lower tuning too. Like drop G seems to be more popular than it was.
That's low.
So, I mean, that rattles the bones for sure.
Oh, it does. It's very very powerful.
Tell me about your tour plans. Are you coming to DC? That's my biggest concern because I live in DC.
Coming to DC. I'm not sure yet. We're planning. I know summer there's going to be something happening. Can't really say much there. I hope to be going to DC. Honestly, I want to go all over the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, even if
Overseas
you made it to
everywhere.
Baltimore, I'd be happy. I can still get there.
Yeah, I think something's in the works, but I'm not sure. As I said, I'm told things. And it's like you're
Right.
going here. Okay.
Cool.
You guys have any new music in the works, or what do you? What's the plan?
Right. I mean, we're mostly pushing like Disgust. We do have some stuff we've been working with and things like that, but mostly it's been kind of pushing Disgust and kind of working with that.
Okay. So Chris and I were talking a few minutes ago, and in the few podcasts we've done here, we've been able to get some really good stories out of people. So I'm gonna. Do you have like the worst onstage gear failure story?
Oh, worst onstage gear failure story.
Look at Chris.
Have I?
You're giving me nightmares, Bruce.
I mean, with my own will, I've been very fortunate that I haven't really had much. There was only one real bad portion of it where I think it was we were playing with Battlecross. I think that was the show. It was in December. And my wireless, no, wait, now I remember what it was. Now you got me, Lincoln. It was in Ohio. We played in Toledo, Ohio. And my bass, my guitar player just fixed it. And some way, somehow, I guess I was throwing my bass too much and it just stopped working. I had no clue what it was. And I ran off the stage, grabbed my backup, came back up, finished the set. And then my guitar player opens it up a couple days later. And he said, "You broke the input jack. I don't know what you did." And I twisted and like broke it.
Wow.
And then I was like, "Oh, this is great." So I think that was probably my worst. I don't think I've had anything catastrophic.
That's
Let's
pretty
say.
good, because I've asked this question in the past to other people, and I was on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, and I asked the guys from Saltatio Mortis, I think that's the way they pronounce it, and he gave me this story. They were over at playing in Wacken or Wacken, or however you want to pronounce it, and a hornet went up his shorts and stung him in the nuts. And he's the drummer, and he's drumming, and a hornet stung him in the nuts, and they're in front of however many people are out there. And he said his nut swelled up like the size of a grapefruit, but he kept playing through it.
If that's not metal as fuck, I don't know what is.
That is very metal, I will say. That sounds painful. I hope that never happens to me. I don't want that. But I mean, we're playing the Gathering of the Juggalos on the outside, so who knows what could happen? Maybe the hornet will come find me.
I'm going to give you one more just because we're in this. So I did one with Steve Austin of Today Is the Day. And he was playing some big European festival, and he stepped out on stage. First song, Mike wasn't grounded. When he touched it, he got zapped and shit his pants.
So he had a Kiss moment. He had the Ace Frehley moment. He shocked himself and stuff.
He shit his pants, and then he didn't know what to do, so he played the rest of his show.
Oh my god!
No, that's a shit set.
Oh. Man,
that's metal right there.
That is. Man, my stuff is tame.
Oh man,
I mean, now I'm gonna need some catastrophic failure to tell people now, but I don't want it.
Before I understood impedance and how amps go into cabinets, I actually blew up an amp on stage. It started smoking, and the fire department showed up.
Oh, fantastic! It's always a good time.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, the bar owner loved me.
Man, when I was in Houston, I used to play in like this improv group, and we would just go do just about anything you can think of. And what we did one day, we played in front of this place called Natsuo, and we were like, we're going to do the Star Spangled Banner. Not very well, of course. and that was already called the Star Mangled Banner because we didn't play very well. So what we did is kind of the guy who runs the whole ringleader of it was like, I'm gonna shoot fireworks off in the middle of downtown, and the buildings aren't very close together.
Nice.
And yeah, they weren't very happy about that, and that's like on top of the glitter we've thrown around everywhere else and angered the bartenders there too.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see on your Facebook page here something that really piques my interest.
Okay.
Disc golf.
What? Whoa! Oh, that's on the disc golf.
Dude. I play.
Oh man, it is killer.
I love disc golf. Me and my boys play.
Man, I need to play some disc golf. To be honest, that's where it's like when I joined this band, like obviously this year, and I haven't even read that. There's some stuff on there. So when I get disc golf, I'm like, when's the last time I played disc golf?
So let me get it straight. You're not a violently pissed off negative disc golfer?
You know, that would be very entertaining. I would love to see a violently pissed off, angry disc golfer.
I've seen it. It's scary. It might have been me.
That sounds
Maybe if a hornet had snuck up your shorts and stabbed you in the nuts while you were throwing it, you'd be violently pissed off.
Man, sounds like someone get hurt over that. I'm going to just throw a disc golf just anywhere.
I can't throw a Frisbee if my life depended on it. Every time I go play, I'm like, fuck, I just lost another one.
That's how I am. I'm not exactly the greatest with that much either.
In Vancouver, they have like disc golf set up in the forest. It's crazy. On the sides of mountains and stuff. It's amazing.
That sounds awesome.
It is, yeah. Especially because no cops go there, so you can just drink beer all the time. You just give her.
Getting drunk and doing disc golf, that sounds like a great time.
So pretty much it's just drinking and walking around chasing your Frisbees.
Mostly,
yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Looking for them and not trying to get ticks.
Yep, basically. I mean, you'd probably enjoy it, though, and then forget about it the next day.
Yeah.
What else you got, Chris?
I don't really have much else. I don't know much about this band because I just learned about it this week when I found out we were doing this podcast. So just so you know, I'm kind of new to metal. I haven't been following it my whole life. I only got into it in about 2011 or so. So for me, doing this podcast is a way about learning new artists and exposing myself to new music and trying to figure it all out. So,
that's awesome. I actually listened to an earlier podcast about that. I think like the first or second one, you said you were into hair metal.
Oh, yeah.
Metal.
Yes. So that's where I come from.
So actually, it's really cool. That
Careful.
No. No. I'm not talking bad about it.
I'm the guy with the delete button. I can dump it at any moment. So
no, I love hair metal. I'm not the guy who doesn't know. My absolute favorite band is Kiss. I love Kiss. You know, Dawkins fantastic, Rat, Queensryche. I mean,
yes.
Enough's enough too. I mean, let's.
Oh my God, that's old school.
Boom. It was when I heard that, I was like, I need to like bring this up.
Enough's Enough is like underground hair metal, you know?
Exactly. This stuff's fantastic.
I'm going to go real underground. And one of my favorite bands still to this day is the Faster Pussycats. I love
Oh my God. Tammy Down is killer.
Actually, what is it? A friend of mine went to go see Stryper. I think.
I like them too. They're coming around. I'd like to go see them.
They are. Also, man, I wish I could see Wasp at least once, but they never come here.
Yeah, I've seen them a few times. They're unbelievable.
Is Wasp still touring?
Jackie Lawless is a man. Yeah, they only tour in Europe though. They kind of America is not their big thing anymore. They do very well in there.
Yeah. I saw him a few years back where he did that whole. I can't think what it's called now. That whole opera. Where they had the screens up with Chainsaw Charlie and I don't know what it's. I can't think of it offhand, but they did the whole opera thing. He had it was pretty much Quiet Riot. He had Frankie Banali and Carlos Cavazo and all those guys, and him up front, and it was just off the chain. Really good.
I need to look this up. I did not know. So
I can't think what the name of that record is now, but yeah, look it up. It's the concept album with Chainsaw Charlie, and it was really good. And they had a bunch of screens and kind of actors, and it was a full-on great production.
That sounds cool. Now
I actually saw them back in like '83 or '84 in the clubs where he wore where they threw the meat out in the audience and wore that crotch saw and that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
So yeah, they're great.
What about LA Guns? I mean, they're one of
LA
my
Guns.
all-time favorites. I
LA
think.
Guns are fantastic too.
Oh man, Cocked and Loaded was such a good record. Recorded terribly, all freaking digital. You know, early digital. You know, where it was thin. But then Hollywood Vampires would have been such an amazing record, but they just fucked the sorry, pardon my language. They just the recording was just like they tried to do like this old 70s recording. I just didn't understand it.
Yeah,
But the
a
new
lot of
LA
bands
Guns
seem to go into that. Like Kiss did it on I think it was Monster when they put it in like the 2000s. They were like, we're going all back to analog. It was a great sounding record, but I don't think you could tell the difference between this digital and analog tape that you spent a lot of money on.
No, God, no. Not with tape at $250 a roll. My God.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes.
Man, that's scary. It's like, oh, don't screw it up. It's $250 down the drain.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that's a drop in the bucket for Gene. He's probably going to license the tape anyway.
Yeah.
He'll throw it in his vault.
Right.
My favorite thing is when the Foo Fighters, on one of their records, they cut up the tape into 1-inch pieces and then put it in the CD jackets and sent it out.
That's cool. That is, I like
Really?
that. That is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's cool to me.
They were trying to do an experiment to see if enough fans would get together, and they put grease pencil on the back of each piece of tape with a number on it, and they wanted to see if fans would get together and reconstruct the tape.
I mean, it's a great idea. I don't know how many people you're going to get in a room to do that.
or in a venue, right? Everybody's going to bring it.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Right on. So, when you haven't been with the band long, and you say you're kind of working on stuff, you're kind of not working stuff. Who's leading the songwriting for you guys?
As far as the songwriting goes, it almost seems equal, to be honest. It's mostly between me, our guitarist Kyle, and our drummer Danny. We'll usually get together. In some cases, they'll have stuff written up, or if I'm not there in my home studio, I'll record some stuff, send it over to them, and be like, hey, this might be a good idea. And then when we get in the practice space, we'll kind of work it out. And then we'll sit there and record our ideas. Danny will program drums to it, and we'll get a basic demo ready.
Cool. What drum software are you using?
Well, I'm not sure what they're. I think they're using Steven Slate drums, from what I know.
Cool.
Yeah,
great
they
sounding
sound
library.
really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I usually use Superior Drummer myself, but Danny's fantastic at programming, so I let him use what he uses. Right. Yeah.
Programming drums is a bitch.
Oh, I agree. That's why I do it sometimes, and I'm very fortunate. I got some loop packs of normal, just generic drum beats that work.
Yeah.
And be like, here's what I'm thinking. Just work around it.
That's very cool to hear that you guys aren't afraid to embrace technology that way. You know, there's some bands don't want to embrace that technology, which is fine. That's their own prerogative.
Right.
You know, like Bruce really likes it when people get in a room together and just give her the whole time. And
right.
I'm kind of in both camps, you know. Sometimes I like to work with people from somewhere else, and other times it's fun to get in a room, you know. But
I agree.
I've had so many drumsticks thrown at my head because I'm such an asshole in the jam space.
Honestly, it's great to have both, that we kind of sit in both camps as well. And mostly, I mean, we'll sit down, but there are other times like, oh, hey, I got a riff. Can you jump on the drum kit and play to it? And be like, yeah, that sounds good. Then be like, well, what do you want to come up next? And so it goes both ways, and it's fantastic. It works very well.
I just found the recording really interesting. It's quite different. You know, it sounds really heavy and modern, but from a frequency perspective, it really grabbed my attention. It sounds very mid-rangey. And a lot of metal really avoids that mid-range. It almost seemed like a rebellion on the rebellion, if that makes any sense.
It seems, because when I joined the band, when I started hanging out just with Kyle and Danny and us talking about recording, they showed me their demos and they sound fantastic. They have a very good ear for understanding the whole frequency spectrum and knowing where things need to sit. And it seems that carried over to what happened with Disgust, is the same exact idea, where we made sure everything sounded full as opposed to sounding heavy on one end or the other.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It really grabbed my attention right away. And like when the song started, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound normal.
Right.
But I was like, I like that. I don't hear mid-range anymore, you know?
It sounds really cool. When I first heard it, I was blown away. The way they had it mixed. I was like, this sounds great. This sounds very ballsy. You know, they did it different, and it worked very well for them.
It did.
And for us in this case.
Yeah. Well, hope it wasn't too bad for you. We try and make it completely different than any other interview you've been on. So.
Oh no, this is awesome. I'm so glad you guys had me on. I won't lie, I was a little nervous. I'm always nervous when I do anything, but this was fantastic.
Oh no, this podcast is just about having conversations with people. It's not like, why don't you tell me about your new single? You know,
tell me about your new single. So what did you do? So what did you think? What were you feeling when it happened?
How did you come up with the band name? You know, we're not going to ask those kinds of questions.
Yeah, that's actually when I listened to the other one of the episodes, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's just like a conversation.
That's what we've been striving for from the beginning. So I'm glad you got it, and I'm glad you didn't mind being on here.
It's fantastic, and I've had a great time.
Awesome. Fucking A, dude. Man. Cheers.
Thanks for taking the time. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Righto. Bye.
All right.
Not bad, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I love the wasp sting in the nuts story. I've never heard that one before.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that was remember those guys? Were you on the boat when those guys were playing I know you were there, but they were playing on the pool deck one night. They had those like bagpipes or some weird.
Oh yeah.
Were you up on the deck? Those guys, it's Saltatio Mortis or something. They're just some older guys that played this really cool like folk metal stuff.
Yeah,
he told me that whole story.
They were on this year too, I think.
Yeah, he told me the whole story about they were out playing whacking, and he sat down at the drums, and a hornet went up his shorts and stung him in the nuts.
Wow.
And the show must go on, so he kept playing.
I mean, I thought Dave Grohl was the man for playing with a broken leg, but my God.
Yeah.
Like a broken leg is nothing compared to a stung nut.
And that story with Steve Austin, where he actually shit himself for being electrocuted. That's legit. He said it was instant. He touched the mic and his bowels voided like immediately. It was like, oh well.
I wonder if the sound guy got fired.
I don't know, but I couldn't imagine like running through the next hour
with full pants,
crap running down your legs. Yeah.
Oh God! Normally the band's crossing the stage on that show. Everyone's on one side. He's over there. Stand in one spot. We don't want to slip in your shit.
Take the mic to the far left. We'll hang out on the right. Yep, that was a good story.
Yeah, that's a good
But anyway,
one.
yeah, I thought that was pretty good. He was a good guy, and that song is great, so hopefully he'll give us used to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man.
Anything else on this one?
I don't think so. It's nice and short, quick, snappy.
Yeah, I think so.
Hello out there.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.